An expert, a top epidemiologist, just breaks the internet with what he just said about this new RNA and how they're pushing it and how it's going to cause a major problem here in America. We're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to talk about how Taiwan just said they are within days, if not hours, from an invasion. What does this mean for the world? We've been talking about this daily. We're just going to keep on talking about it because we need to see how this will affect us. That's somewhere way over on the other side of the world. But everyday items use what they give us. Independence versus dependence. That's what we're going to discuss today. Also, we're going to talk about a nuclear map, meaning the hot spots that would be hit in America. I'm going to just show you just a little piece of this. This little map. You see that? There's a lot of purple and black on there. We're going to discuss what that means and why they would target those areas. Every state, even some of the states that are small, have targets. What does this mean? Why is Russia talking about this? Why are we talking about this? You know what this did though? It made us deploy the Ohio. One of the Ohio submarines is so competent when it comes to nuclear reaction and also nuclear war. Why are we aiming them towards Russia? World War III may be close, guys. We're going to talk about all this today and a few more stories. Let's dive in. Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new, please go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up. It means the world to us. Also remember my vlog channel, Life with Colby Mac. We have vlogs coming out just about every week, 2 or 3 a week, just so you can see how we choose to live on a farm or how we choose to live as a family and try to be independent and sustainable. Now let's jump into the stories of the day. First, let's talk about what this epidemiologist just shared. It says Nicholas Hulscher just dropped a bombshell. It says global population collapse exceeding 100 million could happen by the year 2030, driven by the fallout of mass RNA, and I have to say that very carefully, through fatal adverse events and widespread fertility destruction. He said this is no accident. This isn't theory, this isn't forecast, this is an alarm. Now remember, we've talked about this lately, fertility rates have plummeted, meaning people are not having children anymore. Not only that, people are not having children because they don't want them, because they think it's too expensive, and also because people are not fertile anymore, meaning what we're realizing is people cannot have children. Another thing, sudden deaths are rising. So what we've seen is, if you look at statistics, from the 50 to 70 range has seen more deaths based on cancers and diseases. The 70 and older group has seen more deaths because people are not aging as long. Our mortality rate has actually dropped, meaning we're not living as long. However, we have the most access to health and medicines and pharmacology ever, but we're not living as long. Cancer rates are exploding. Humanity is under a biological siege when it comes to this, and yet the media is silent. The government complicit. The pharma execs enriched. Listen to this. It says, what we were told is this would save our lives and is now be used as a weapon. Remember now, this is the same RNA technology that we just said that Bill Gates just got permitting to spray on crops. Just got permitting to put in your animals. And if you go back to yesterday's story, we talked about how there is livestock literally getting slaughtered because of sickness, because of certain things they were putting in. Is this what we want to see? So it's saying, he's bringing the awareness. He said, this is truly the damage and danger. He's saying, this is what the danger is. It's not some sickness. It's because of how we treated it is now causing for no fertility, people not wanting children, the fact that cancer is running rampant, and the fact that we are now treating our food with this. It will kill up to 100 million by 2030. He said that's how it will depopulate, because they're using the technology that so-called helped us to harm us. Pay attention to this. You know, we talk about these kind of stories all the time, but when we talk about preparedness, we talk about the safety and the protocols. This comes back down to food. Where's your food coming from? Is your food tainted with this? What are we exposing our bodies to? Are we tainted with things? Are we seeing Are we worried about the skies? This is the point of independence and sustainability, is to protect us from these things right here. I mean, prime example, listen to this. This is actually shared by someone on Twitter, and this is, I thought, very unique. It came from Slay News out of Canada. It says, Canada has advanced plans to use the, you know what I mean, based on Bill Gates' funding of aerosols. Canada's Liberal government is advancing plans to roll out a new RNA to then push on the general public using aerosols only. It's called, quote-unquote, AeroVax. The new AeroVax seeks to overcome the hesitancy of people not wanting to get this, but ultimately gives it to the general public by what's in the sky. Wow. Now, before we go any further, a word from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor, again, is Chapter, someone we have been very, very happy with. We love to see people being able to save money. Well, Chapter is an advisory group that comes alongside you that helps anyone who is 65 and older or fisting to be to literally say, how do we navigate Medicare? Is it safe for us? Is this the route we need to go? Is this the supplement that we need? Will this help me with my doctors, with my medicine? Well, right now everybody has an opinion, and sometimes those opinions help them, but it doesn't help you. This is where Chapter comes in. They come and personalize for you. And guess what? It's free. 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 Costs you $0. If you call the number below, you'll speak to someone maybe 15, 20 minutes, and they can save you, listen, the average American, $1,100. I've seen people save $800, and I've seen people save $1,200. And all it was because their plan wasn't actually right for them. Chapter can help make sure your plan is right for you. If it's right, great, they're going to tell you. But if not, they can save you loads of money. And I'll be honest with you, a few $100s, a few $1,000s, that kind of savings at 65 years old when groceries cost a lot and you're on a fixed income is a big deal. Check out Chapter today. Call the number below. There's a link in the description too. This has been one of my absolute favorite sponsors because they care for people and they want to see people save money. Check with Chapter today. Okay, let's go back to this map. This is a very sketchy map. So it shows you this, and there's purple and black dots all over America, especially on the eastern seaboard and kind of middle America where the big cities are, and then of course on the western seaboard. Now, why is that important? Why do we want to show you that map? Why don't you listen to this? It says, this is what Russia practiced for decades and trained for. With 5,800 warheads and modern ICBMs capable of reaching the U.S. soil within 30 minutes, this threat is not hypothetical anymore. It says what we see is a U.S. nuclear target list threat. After Medvedev invoked dead hand, Russia's Cold War doomsday protocol, it wasn't just a bluster. It is a reminder Moscow still knows exactly where to aim and how and what to target. It says a declassified 2017 map shows that this is what the plan is when they kind of invoke this doomsday scenario. Well, guess what? They just did. It's from all power grids in all places. So again, when we talked about grid down, we talked about the safety of against EMP. We talked about preparedness and independence. They're hitting, of course, big cities, but their target list are grid places that have capabilities to keep the energy going. Well, if all of a sudden your energy's gone, could you make it? Remember, there's a study showing that 90% of individuals could not make it over a month without the grid because of sicknesses, safeties, hospitals, defense, survival, food. So you hit the major targets, and all of a sudden then you hit places that have choke points and refineries and power grids and ports and even farmland. The logic: break the military, cripple the food, and cripple the fuel. That is their target list when it comes to doomsday threats. This is from Medvedev and Russia. Why do we keep wanting to invoke the dangers of this? Listen, this says a destructive power on the single Ohio submarine. Now, Trump just deployed Ohio-class submarines. It says after Russia's former president Medvedev warned the West of sanctions that could lead to war, Trump responded by deploying 2 Ohio submarines, each capable of launching a nuclear strike powerful enough to level multiple cities in minutes. Ohio-class submarines carry up to 20 Trident II D5 missiles, each capable of delivering multiple nuclear warheads. For comparison, the Hiroshima bomb was just 15 kilotons. Each one of these are 475 kilotons. Again, 30 times the power of Hiroshima. So we're activating subs that have nuclear capabilities on them. They're saying that they have a map based on what they can hit to make sure their nuclear reactors and ICBMs can hit America with no problem. What are we doing? It's unbelievable that we're having these conversations. It says the full salvo could obliterate dozens of cities, making a single sub one of the most destructive weapons platforms ever built. Russia said this. He said, if these things come towards us, we will take you out too. We will defend Russia. I don't know about you, but I think it's absolutely crazy that we're even having this conversation each and every day. But this is why I tell you every day, the reason we bring these things up is because if you are not ready and not prepared and have survival things intact, and that you're more independent with your food system and water, then you will be more and more susceptible to this. Baking and bread lines, worry about where you're going to eat, how you're going to eat, what kind of money you're going to have. If you're not protecting yourself, this is exactly what your future looks like. I mean, we just talked about the catastrophic damage of 2030 and the dangers of what's being sprayed in our skies. Now we're talking about war. And guess what? It keeps on going. Listen to this. Taiwan comes out and says this. He said, not just weeks, not just days, but maybe even hours. It says, we are preparing because China is coming and aggressively looking at invading our island. Citing military buildup in gray tactical zones, he says he emphasizes Taiwan's need for global support due to China's overwhelming resources and potential economic disruptions of the area. Now, the reason this is a big deal, and I keep bringing this up, is because the car you drive, the smartwatch that you probably have, the smartphone that you probably have, the TV that you probably are watching, every bit of that. All the appliances, washers, dryers, fridges, all that stuff, if it's new, guess what? It probably has smart chips in it. It probably has different versions of chips that probably come from Taiwan. So what if all of a sudden this stuff stops working? You can't replace it. What if all of a sudden you had to replace it and the cost is extremely high because of the shortages? If you remember back in 2020, they would show shots of all these dealerships that had cars everywhere parked at warehouses, and they were just brand new vehicles, but none of them worked because they were missing little chips. The little chips were from this area. So how safe are we? Would this put us back in the Stone Age? The fact that we can't even get things for all this stuff that we've built, this modernization. Did you know cars are not just made mechanical anymore? They don't just run on the spark and the fuel. They're running on modules. They're running on electrical currents. They're running on computers. All that is with what Taiwan is producing with these little semiconductor chips. Yes, we should have been producing these 30, 40, 50 years ago. Now we're all of a sudden starting to get this technology, but it may be a little too late. Because if all of a sudden China takes over this area and then China has the power to regulate this, do you believe that's going to really turn our trade negotiations upside down? Because this is what everyone needs, what Taiwan is producing. Pay attention to these stories. So now we have catastrophic events deemed with the stuff that's been put in our foods and in us, of course. This causes fertility problems. We see nuclear threats from Russia. We have Taiwan that's going to invade somewhere that's going to impact us because of what is in that area, the semiconductors. This is a lot of bad news, isn't it? Look, we live in a fallen world. We live in a tough time. I mean, look, for example, minister gunned down in Seattle. Things are not getting better right now. So here's what I always say. Instead of looking to Washington, instead of looking to your state capital, instead of looking to your mayor and your city board or your county board, start looking, first of all, spiritually, but start looking within. How can you make it better for yourself? How can you make sure that your family's taken care of? Our goals are always to put up food and water. Our goals are always to save money and not blow money. Our goal is to never go back in debt. There's no reason for it. Our goals are trying to be independent. You have to control your food, control your energy, control your money. If you control those things, you're going to be okay. But if all those things are reliant on the government, like they're wanting, like any big business would want to, where they want you reliant on them, then you will go through tough times. I don't tell you this stuff to scare you. I tell you this stuff so you can be proactive, not reactive. Proactive means I'm going to work and be better and provide for my family before it happens. It's insurance. It's making sure we have the things in place just in case. Reactive means, oh gosh, I see the problem. What do I do now? And we're not ready. That's how most Americans would be. They'd be reactive. Again, look at 2020 and what it did to people. People went crazy over toilet paper. We can't be reactive. We have to be proactive. Quickly, if you cannot control your food list and where your food comes from and buying it local, you need to start growing food. If you can't, you need to start buying freeze-dried foods. Secondly, water. We talked about water in the water wars lately. You need to make sure that you have water, 1 to 3 gallons per person per day for how many people you have in your household, and then go as many days as you can into that. Number 3, you need to make sure that you're getting out of debt and that you are putting up money in things that are tangible. Did you know China just banned crypto? They actually have had it banned in different portions since about 21, 22, but now it's showing that it's actually getting banned deeper, and people don't want this digitized currency. The reason China doesn't want it is not the same reason we're talking. We want independence and liberty. They want to get rid of it so they can have their own control of their own digitized currency. The thing is this: control your money by tangible goods and borrowable goods. Things like cash, gold, things that have value and that can be traded. Remember, money is not just cash. Money is things that are valuable to someone else. It's a mode of exchange. So have some tangible goods there. You got to get out of debt. Number 4, make sure that you are reliant on your community and yourself. Don't be reliant on the national side of providing for you. Don't look to Washington like we talked about, and don't look to everyone to provide it for you like a grocery store. You look for your community, how you can work together to build the best opportunity. I think of the Amish and learning from the Amish and learning from different communities. They take care of themselves. That is valuable. Look for that in civic groups, church groups, homeschool groups, homesteading groups. Look for ways that you can work as a community. And number 5, we have to spiritually prepare. These things that we talk about, man, it's scary. It's like end of the world kind of thing. Do I worry about myself? No, but I have 6 kids. It makes me fearful for them. So therefore, we have to spiritually get ready because times are hard and we worry about these things. So we look to God to provide for us. We look for Him for wisdom and common sense, and that's why we prepare, because He gives us wisdom too. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. We appreciate you so very much for watching. We're humbled by your support. Pay attention to these stories. They're big stories. God bless.